Alright, welcome to Bell Peppers and Beef, a Cowboy Bebop podcast. This week we're talking about Session 8, Waltz for Venus. I'm Paul.
Justin.
And Dave.
Alright, Dave, what happened in this episode?
The Bebop team actually succeeded in getting a bounty.
Fucking
At
finally.
the start of the episode, they did it.
Well, technically Jet and Faye kind of did it. Spike was just kind of sleeping and did his typical actions.
And he stretched and punched him in the face and did whatever. You know?
Again, Spike's typical actions on a daily basis.
Yeah, but still succeeding.
Alright, what was the plot in this episode, Dave?
Well, the specifics of most things were the Bebop crew is on Venus, and after succeeding in getting a bounty, were looking around for some more work and thankfully found a bit of work on Venus and get themselves caught up in another little story that happens within the giant vastness of space.
Alrighty. So my first note, airport security sucks in the future because they somehow managed to smuggle guns onto an airplane. Or spaceship or whatever the fuck you want to call it. How in the fuck do they not have metal detectors in the future?
He hid it under his shirt.
I can hide that under my shirt too, motherfucker.
To note, those were 2 middle fingers.
Yes, they were. Okay, so Spike eventually walks out onto the planet in the open air, and because of the extra helium, his voice gets all fucked, and that was pretty great for me.
The interesting thing is why Venus has helium, because of the specific plants that grow there.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing is the fact that Venus, with those specific plants that grow there, could have a decent chance of causing Venus sickness to you, which in some cases can cause blindness.
Yeah, which is going to come up later.
Blah.
Okay, so...
But also, while getting off the plane, Spike picks up a fad.
Yeah, who tries to mug him immediately and then fail.
Yeah.
And then he kept stalking him.
Okay, what is this guy's name? Because I wrote... Roko?
Roko.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Roko or Roku.
No,
and I was
Roko.
like, oh, he's named after a streaming device.
I'd like a note that said, like, Roko is loco. Anyway.
Alright, so Spike, like, tries to teach this dude to fight, and is like, you should fight like water, which... Okay.
Well, the basic sort of concepts of fighting from them is using the least amount of energy to do the largest amount of work.
Yeah. It's just a funny phrase.
Nah.
That was my point.
True.
So, we find out about gray ash, which is some plant that grows on Venus that helps cure Venus sickness.
No, it causes Venus sickness.
I thought it also...
But it's the one thing that actually makes the atmosphere and whatnot on Venus.
Isn't it also used to, like, they use the seeds or something to cure the sickness? Because
Oh,
that's
no.
why I assumed he had the plant with him.
Oh no, I think that was the case.
Okay.
Yes, I might have mixed up my notes with that. Yeah, gray ash is the supposed thing to cure Venus sickness.
Okay. So, this Roku or whatever the fuck his name is, hands Spike a big bag o' mystery, which has the gray ash in it, but I just like calling it a bag o' mystery.
Yeah.
We find out that this dude has a sister who's blind right now named Stella. What else happens, Dave?
Well, with meeting with Stella, she supposedly says that Spike is different from the supposed bounty hunters that she's come into contact with.
And she provides him with a music box, which apparently has these seeds in them.
Actually, I think it was the case that Roko gave Stella that music box, and Spike discovers the seeds inside.
Yeah.
Okay. Eventually, Roku goes to... I don't know exactly... Is it like a cathedral or something with all these columns and stuff?
I think it's just more of a specific building or a church.
Okay, I assumed it was some kind of religious area.
Bleh.
But there's this shot where the camera slowly pans over and there's all these columns and you see Roku walking towards the camera, and it's fucking great.
Duly noted. Also, Faye's chased so many dead ends.
Yeah, Faye is just a dumbass in this episode.
Just a teeny bit. But
Yeah.
then, of course, that's Faye for you.
I can't really remember what Faye did in this episode.
I just have a note that says dumb Faye.
That's great description.
Well, she went
I
to the
thought
typical venues, going into a bar, not getting answers, shoot the place up, and then
okay, right.
breaks in on stuff.
Yeah, she's pretty much useless.
Okay, gotcha.
At least she's given something to do, but she's still kind of useless.
And she
Yeah.
also kind of wasted all of her money.
Oh yeah, she goes off to gamble too.
And
As
lost it all.
Faye is like to do.
She
Okay.
deposited it into a casino.
Yeah. That's a great investment strategy. So Roku gets shot and dies.
No, he was
Hashtag
like,
spoilers.
I did it!
Yep.
Which is another great scene
Yeah.
when he
Roko-
gets shot.
Rocco
like,
learned
good
two
job.
very important things that night. Spike wasn't bullshitting about what he taught him, and don't get yourself fucking messed up with the mob.
Yeah.
Don't be too quick to celebrate either.
Nah.
It is a pretty great sequence though when he gets shot. That's really cool. So I think Roku's the one holding the I don't know what you call it, like the glass kind of container with the gray ash in it.
Yeah, and he drops
And
it.
he drops it when he gets shot, and it like withers and dies.
Blech.
Which I thought was going to be a bigger deal than it fucking turned out to be, but
Meh.
They could have just sold it for money.
yeah. But okay, so we're gonna get to okay. So after this, he dies. Spike goes back to see Stella. Now, when we saw Stella the first time, she was blind,
Mm-hmm.
and they needed the gray ash to cure her blindness.
Blech.
Now, because we saw the gray ash die, what would be your logical assumption?
The seeds that he found within this thing that they discussed about within the episode is supposedly a decent amount of money they could supposedly use to get the treatment that she needs to cure her blindness.
Okay, so my assumption was because the plant died, the seeds weren't going to be viable, and she would still be blind.
Hmm.
How does that make sense?
This is a fucking sci-fi bullshit show.
Yeah.
That would make that's not the most unreasonable thing they've done. And it would be such better storytelling. Because Roku gets involved with the mob. Yes, he dies, but he ultimately still gets what he wants.
Hmm.
Isn't that the case anyway?
Meh.
No, but my argument is he shouldn't get what he wants.
Hmm.
Oh.
His sister should have remained blind. The seeds shouldn't have been viable when the plant died.
Hmm.
Isn't that a better story?
I don't know. It kind of works either way.
Supposedly.
Alright.
Sometimes having a happy ending isn't that bad of a
I
thing.
think I also wrote a little bit of a bittersweet ending. It wasn't really, 100% happy either.
Definitely true.
No, I'm okay. So my argument isn't that I dislike it because it's a happy ending. My argument is they set it up in a way that made me expect
One thing when something else happened.
and my argument would be what they did just feels like they wussed out. Like you could have gone for such a better, darker, more emotional ending, but you went for the hey, let's try to put a little happiness in here.
It's not really
Hey,
happy
you need some
either.
happiness sometimes.
Sure, she can see now, but she can also see that he's dead.
Well, she's like she said
And
in
she'll
the
never
episode.
get to see him with her own eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I
Even
don't
though she
necessarily
can see-
hate it. I just think it could have been better.
No, I can definitely understand where you're coming from.
Okay, so what else happens in the episode, Dave?
No, that's pretty much about it. Aside from the ending scene showing what Stella mentioned at the start, where the plants on Venus, when they bloom, it kind of looks like snow. Just the little
That looks like
spores.
dandelions.
Yeah, dandelion puff, but
Yeah, I had
From a
white
distance.
seed umbrellas as a note.
That's that's the dandelion seed things. That's what it looked like.
Okay, so what was the point of that? Because, I think I have a theory on the symbology of it, but what do you guys think is the point of that?
day in the life of the Bebop.
Okay, that's one theory. Justin?
I don't have a theory.
Okay, well, bravo for you. Thanks for being honest, at least. Okay, so a big thing with snow, especially when it comes to the symbology of using it in film, usually you use something like that as a symbol for purity or something like that. So I kind of thought they were kind of doing something where, like, you were meant to, because this starts happening after Roku dies, that it was meant to kind of like purify what he did to save his sister. Now, maybe I'm reaching too far, but that's my initial thought. I also think it's fucking dumb, but...
No, as it sits, I can definitely sort of see that theory having some legs to stand on. Definitely makes sense for that.
Okay, Justin, what did you think of this episode? Give it a score out of 10, even though you won't give it a score out of 10 because you're an asshole.
That's not the reason why I'm an asshole.
I love that you're not trying to defend that. You're just like, no, there are other reasons. Alright, what's your score?
I give it phase deposit out of 10.
I don't know what
nice.
that score means.
I don't know either.
I can't remember the exact amount of zeros, but I believe it was somewhere of 400,000.
Okay, no, I didn't mean it was that great of an episode. It's
Well, hey, it's not as much as what the full account of the Bebop is. It's only the amount that Spike gave to her.
True, but it was generally all right.
Alrighty, Dave, your score.
As it sits with me, this is one of the episodes I also kind of enjoy. A bit for the reactions of Roko with his puppy dog wanting to learn and all these particular sort of things, but as well as the fact that it's a bit bittersweet with all the particular stuff that it sort of happens with it. So, as it sits with me, it also sits as a great episode that I particularly enjoyed, but with the discussion, I can sort of bump it down to a good sort of rating to sort of fit a bit more critically with it.
Okay. So, I like this episode up until the last 2-3 minutes.
Where it could have supposedly had a better ending in your mind.
Yeah. I still really like the episode. I think it's really well done. I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
You have any closing thoughts there, Justin?
No, not really.
Very good. David?
I think the only one thing is, vaguely remember watching the episode for the first time. I was definitely bummed with seeing what happened, but as watching it now, man, that was a punch to the gut. It almost got me to tear up with any of that sort of stuff. Makes me a little nervous, honestly, for what's about to come.
Alrighty. Well, I'm Paul.
Justin.
And Dave.